start, and then we see how it goes.
Yeah.
We are all flexible and very intuitive at the moment. So
Yeah.
You would open the circle and then, invite everybody in who is here, Jennifer and Jackie and Lauren and Sharon. Thank you for being here live with us. Yeah, like I've been doing the last few times, I light a candle for us with my ancestors' protection symbol. Just say a prayer. May all beings have happiness and the cause of happiness. May all beings remain free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all beings remain connected to sacred joy and happiness that is totally free from sorrow. May all beings come to rest in feeling of security and peace. May all beings be happy, content, and fulfilled. Amen. Namaste. Blagadaru. You might add any blessings which you have for us. And today, since I posted yesterday my picture of this beautiful golden gate, which just happened to be in London, the Hampton Court Palace, where the Royal School of Needlework is. And our goldwork set is actually from this school. And I'm forever in love and connected with this beautiful place. And when I was there the last time between the years, I got myself this rose spray from the shop at Hampton Court Palace. So I like to anoint us with this beautiful rose water. And you have got already the card of the world for us before the recording started?
Yeah.
Quite big, isn't it?
I know, it's really good. And it's good because we've got people in here. I mean, I know that people are really interested in the tarot as well as the sacred cards, which you're going to bring up, which is really beautiful. But I just thought today, let me just have a look. And I was so surprised it came up. So that's nice. The world, and I'm guessing you all know the world. And the world is really about the combining of the masculine and feminine. And in this case, they talk about the Shekinah, which is in the Kabbalah, where the sun or God comes down to the Shekinah, which is the feminine aspect, so called earth. And we are connected in that way. So yeah, the earth is about that combination of masculine and feminine where neither dominates. Yeah.
Beautiful. Would you like to show us again? Because you have shown us before the recording. All right.
I don't think, all right. So that's the card. I'm gonna try and bring it closer. You'll see it's not a whale.
It's not a whale because I've seen a whale in this card.
Well, obviously a whale means something, and whales are very a lot of the northern parts of the world, the Nordic parts. Whaling is really big there, so there may be that there's a connection about whales as a mythical animal that maybe we hadn't really thought about yet.
Well, whale is one of my spirit animals, and whales are connected to the original sound of the world. They actually speak the language, like we speak, like when we, for example, do womb songs, or when you get to the stillness of chanting, like runes. This comes from the same space, like the sound which the whales are transmitting. It can go over 300 kilometers wide, I think even wider. And there's a beautiful book, what whales have to tell us, or dolphins have to tell us. And of course, dolphins are small whales.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful book. They're actually from Atlantis, original messengers from Atlantis, and a lot to tell us if we listen.
Yeah.
And I've drawn a card from the shamanic oracle card, the child.
The child. Oh, wow. Wow. Wow.
And of course, today in our live call earlier on, we were speaking about being like a child, open channels to receive life force energy without the patterns and limiting beliefs and blockages which we normally have. So the child brings this pure life force energy and the beginner's mind.
Yeah. Yeah, and we were saying that there's a difference between a child having this pure channel, because children are pure channels, and that wisdom is not quite what children would have. That wisdom comes with an embodied experience. But children are channels, they're the absolute channel. So when they do kind of give us wisdom, it feels like it's wisdom because it's very ancient wisdom that they're channeling through. Yeah.
Yes. And I like to draw a rune. I love all those breadcrumbs of.
I think Jackie, you're from a Germanic. Your mum was German, wasn't she?
My mum was half Swiss.
Half Swiss. So there's a Germanic origin and maybe even Nordic kind of space. So here are runes. Do you know about the runes?
I've heard of them. I've never had any experience with them before.
So here we are, your first experience. I love to work with the runes. They are woven, as it says, in the web of weird, with the net of all life. All the 9 dimensions which the runes contain, they're also in the web of weird. It's a net of all 9 dimensions, which are also on the world tree. So they contain all energies if we learn how, again, to listen and to understand the messages. And today, the energy of the Sovilo rune is with us. Sovilo stands for the sun and life force energy.
Oh, wow, there we are.
Optimism and being in touch with our soul's purpose. It's shining the light on our life's path. Yeah, wow.
Like that?
Child and Sovilo.
So we've really got sun and child and sun, so the sun is very big today.
Wow. Yeah, and last but not least, I feel like like a child at Christmas, like picking up like this presents from my womb pouch of 27 goddesses symbols, Beregini in Russian. Which one wants to be with us today? Oh, the light one.
Oh, nice.
This is even looks like
that's your 9 rune reading, isn't it? Same.
It's the 9 rune reading and reminds me of your matryoshka. And it's also
there's my matryoshka.
Yeah, look at that. It certainly has.
Look at that.
Great resemblance.
I channeled that. I mean, I got that lost in a visualization, which I'll tell about later.
And this has got 8 directions, like the arms of Lakshmi. This is a light flake, a snowflake. A snowflake standing for the goddess of the light one. She's bringing renewal. The affirmation is, with clarity and ease, I am embracing the world. They can use it to clear ourselves on all levels, or to get to a breakup much easier, to bring clarity to a situation. Well, it's everything this childlike, Sovilo, light energy.
Yeah.
With us tonight. I like it.
Well, I think that's when spirit can really come and be with us. I think when we play, when we take the sacredness with it and have enthusiasm, then it just draws energy, isn't it? It just draws the energy and makes things happen in a different way. So I'm waiting to see what's going to happen tonight. Really
Me
excited,
too.
really looking forward to it.
Me too, always.
Right.
With the beginner's mind, only new things can come
Yeah.
to us.
So, right. Well, okay. So what we can do is just very quickly, very briefly, maybe give how we'll structure it tonight is just do a little bit of an intro for Erica and I. And then we will talk a little bit about why the quantum weird and why sacred embroidery goes together. And then Eric is going to lead us through a beautiful meditation where we're going to meet our goddess. And then we're going to work with that goddess, and we'll also be doing some needlework if you've got some needlework, if you've got something to work with tonight. If you haven't, then obviously you can paint or draw, but it would be really nice if you can actually do it, if you've got some needlework. Yeah. And what I would suggest is if you haven't got anything that you've cut out or a special piece, make sure that you use it on something. I was talking to someone today and they said, oh, can I put it on a pillow? So it could be that it could be on something that would allow you to sleep well, you know. So think about the intention if you're going to use something that's not going to just be a piece of material. All right. Right. Okay. Do you want to go first, Erica, or shall I?
You can go first.
Okay. All right. Well, I know that Jackie knows me. I know that we've heard Uja and Jackie again. So yeah, it's so my story is really that I was very disconnected from my thread. And it was amazing because Erica and I were talking about our threads this morning, and really I lost my thread a long, long time ago, in the sense that I used to do a lot of embroidery, a lot of needlework. I used to knit, crochet. I really was happiest when I was doing that. And then I somehow got caught up coming here. And although for my first few years I was still knitting and beavering away, once I started to get involved and, you know, living life, trying to get pregnant and all of these things, which didn't happen, but I lost my thread. I didn't connect back to something that kept me whole. And so things started to shift quite dramatically for a while. And then we met Erica when we were doing the Feminine Power Mastery, and we were both doing our own book. So my book, Hiding in Plain Sight, which is over here, is really my story coming back into space, coming back, finding my thread, finding out who I am and what I stand for. And what was really interesting was when Eric and I started talking, we realized that we were kind of like the same. We were soul-based coaches. We'd followed similar paths in a strange kind of way. But when we started doing our golden thread together, that's when magic started to happen. So we started to do artwork from the Royal School of Embroidery. And this was the artwork that we started doing. So Erica will show hers. But, you know, we started, and of course I started and I said, oh, we must do this together. And then all of a sudden she went way ahead and I only finished this last week. But perfection came up for me. Oh my God, you can imagine what came up for me. All the things that stopped me from some of my other stuff kicked in. But the wonderful thing is that part of this was learning how to not be perfect and learning how that everything takes time and its own time, and the time is right for you. Whatever it is that you do, the time is right for you. So part of what we're doing here is really allowing you the space to do what is right for you. So yeah, that's my very brief introduction.
Well, thank you.
You want to go?
I love it how it's every time when we tell our story, new parts coming in.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we cannot tell our stories often enough. Thank you. Yeah, briefly about me. Some of you know me already, but Jackie and Lauren that don't. So I try to tell my story as it comes from me right in this moment. Yeah, like you already mentioned, Shireen, we met on this course, Feminine Power course by Claire Samet. It's already like about a year ago.
Mm.
And that's how we connected. We were both writing a book. I finished also mine almost at the same time, also this year. So I'm the author of this book, The Weirding Way, The Mysterious Art of Weaving Your Own Destiny. On the cover page, which I think is very potent. It's an activation in itself. I sometimes just put my hand on it and I feel the energy of the knowns. You see the known of the past, Urt, the known of the present, Vedanti, and the known of the future, Skuld. And they're sitting at the root of the word tree, Yggdrasil. And they water the tree every day with the water, with the deep waters of the well, Urtbrunnen. And they are set in Norse mythology to hold the threads of all timelines, like past, present, and future, and weaving everything what we see. The web of life is being woven by this. They are not women, they are giantesses, and they're even more powerful than all gods, anything which exists in all dimensions. So it's an immense power. And what happened to me is I felt disconnected since I can remember, and especially since my family moved from Kazakhstan when I was 9 years old to Germany. And that's where my suffering started. For about 30 years, I would say, I felt disconnected. I didn't know where I belong. Yeah, I felt not seen for my sensitive, clairvoyant capabilities, and only seen for my sports achievements. I'm actually like a professional sportswoman. So I felt disconnected most of my life until I attended a workshop at the island of Rügen and started to embroider this Slavic towel. It's called rushnik. And it's actually like a life tree. And that's when I started to remember and I started to connect. Who am I when I'm outside of my story? And that's when I received the symbolism through certain goddesses which appeared to me. And I deepened this practice by weaving my life's towel, doing my shamanic dress I'm wearing, which is also connected with the goddesses weaving through me. And it's really a deepening practice of really, truly, deeply listening. Who am I really outside of my body? And that's when the known started to weave through me, and it became more and more sacred. Everything around me became more sacred because everything has got a soul. Everything is woven by a divine power. And that's what the knowns are teaching me. And all what I can do is surrender more and more to this path of being aligned with the stitches, the steps, how I'm being woven. So that's why the embroidery art's not just like something beautiful with the hands. It's really about bringing the sacredness of our own destiny threads to the table in each moment.
Yeah. And you're wearing your ruchnik, you're wearing your hat, you're wearing everything that is symbolic of who you are. You're literally putting on this cloak that is saying, I am living this. I am in this moment.
And everything is a talisman, actually. Because this hat connects me to my family in Kazakhstan. These earrings are from Bisk, Siberia, where my father was born and lived 15 years of his life. This necklace is from my Russian embroidery teacher, from whom I learned this destiny towel. My dress is a living piece because I add constantly things which are currently moving through me. Like I added like the rune wheel in the back and the sun and the moon and my power animal from Kazakhstan, snow leopard, wants to come in the bag. So it's a living thing. And it has got to do everything. How much sacredness do we bring into those objects? And then it becomes like a ritual in itself.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that just stems on again from what it is today. And I wonder, and that I'd love to just ask everybody here, what is their idea of a sacred ritual? What do they understand? Just kind of, yeah, short answer. So what, Jackie, what's your idea of a ritual, or what you think it brings?
I guess I have my morning rituals, which are, praying and doing some yoga meditation. Brings me peace of mind and sets me up for the day.
Yeah. And when you do it, how does it make you feel? What is it that it does? I mean, it sets you up for your day, but what do you think that it does for you in the essence in your body? Do you feel any different after it?
Yeah, I do. I feel, I guess, more sort of aligned in like my body and my mind, and
yeah,
connected. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Uja, do you want a short one? Do you want to quickly put that in or not?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Oh,
very quick, hey?
Yeah, I don't need ear clips. Well, a morning ritual. Yeah, yoga is a ritual, but when you asked the question, yesterday joined Canta Amore. That was singing on, it was on the Zoom actually, in the whole world. And then it was like a ceremony with, the sari medicine and the singing. And it was like, but that's more like a ritual, a big event. So it's very different. You can do your own ritual with your morning structures, disciplined, like a wake-up call, and also in the yoga to complete it, to finish it with a relaxation,
Yeah.
and the ceremonies with big crowds. But at the moment, the crowds are gone, so it's a lot what I see and join on Zoom, and sometimes I do little things on the Zoom also for people to.
So there's something that happens when you do a ritual. There's something that goes on
energy
in your body.
Energy and receiving and giving energy, and can be very transformative. Yeah.
Thank you. So really, we're just looking at a couple of things, and I don't know whether, Jennifer, you want to say anything. Do you want to say anything there?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, sure. I actually live every day in ritual. And
lovely.
Yeah, right? Is there any other way to live? And I actually live it and love it so much that I created a company called Sacred Smoke and Rituals. So rituals, I think, is the way to remind us how sacred our life is. And it helps me remember the tiny things that make my life more meaningful, and to hold that space of being sacred. So like all over my house, I have like little tiny altars or little more elaborate ones, just so whenever I walk into that room, I'm reminded, even if it's just a stone and a candle, of the intention that's connected with me right there. So that's
beautiful.
What it lives.
That is beautiful.
Means to me. Thank you.
Yeah. And I think, thank you so much, because I think the really key thing about a ritual is the fact that we're creating a reminder. That's the first thing. We're reminding ourselves of our intention. we're reminding ourselves that this is a sacred moment, means all of us have to be in it, you know, and we're reminding ourselves that this is a prayer. We're making a prayer to ourselves and a prayer as an offering. So we're receiving and we're giving at the same time. And you know, when we move into a ritual, we're going into a state. And the state is really what shifts and transforms things in our body. We know that if you believe something's going to happen, you go into that state, and those things will predict thereafter. So if you're in a happy state, you're likely to do certain things differently from when you're in a not so happy state. Yeah. So when you do a ritual, you're doing something which is so sacred, because what you're doing is you're spending time to call on the universe. You're literally giving the universe enough time to come and find you, because you're now a beacon. So when you start to connect with sacred embroidery, really what starts to have happen is the needle that you are using is like a wand. It's effectively like a wand, and you're placing the intention in that space. And as you focus in that space, what happens is that your whole brain activates. Your whole body starts to activate and start to align. And one of the things which we know it's there, and we know that people start to say, oh, well, I can manifest this and I can manifest that. But why is this possible? And this is where we talk about the quantum and the weird. Because in actual fact, when we use our hands, we always talk about things flowing through us. Our hands are very much an aspect that allows us to control our world. And our hands basically hold a huge amount of space within our brain. So we have in our brain, I'll show you. Oh, that's a beautiful picture.
I'm actually trying to make this. That's definitely Kazakhstan. That's my favorite place in the world, next to the Alatau Mountains. Should actually share this other screen, but
you can't find it.
But it prefers to share Kazakhstan, right?
Well, there we are. It wants to go home. Yeah.
Yeah, so why is it not showing?
So I'll carry on talking anyway.
Yes, please do. Please do.
So basically, yeah, our fingers are very, very dense, and they've got huge amounts of nerve endings in our fingers, very sensitive to touch. Our face have another lot, which are sensitive to touch. So our face and our hands do the most amount of work in our body. So in our brain, they take up most space in the area of our sensory and of our motor movement.
Oh, here we are. Now you should see it.
Okay, so so if you have a look here, where you can see on the left-hand side is something called the homunculus. And I don't know whether any of you, I know that Uja and Jennifer have been here, but I don't know whether Jackie has.
And I'm just starting to embroider already. So anybody who wants to already start doing something, you're welcome.
So on the left is the homunculus. And the homunculus is, as you can see, that's the proportion. So that's how much space in our sensory motor area is taken up by our hands and taken up by our face. The rest of the body pretty much barely gets a look in. He's got the weeniest weenie you'll ever see. So a very big tongue. So what can we say about that? But on the right-hand side, we have something called the ultimate physical atom. Now, this ultimate physical atom is basically a quantum kind of concept. It's not actually a real atom in reality, but it is that what they imagine, that what they kind of seem to experience when they model it out. And what it is that this is made up of 10 spirals going around this particular shape. pretty much a heart shape, really. And these spirals basically are made up of spirals upon spirals upon spirals. They're never ending. But if you were to take one end of one spiral out and put it together, you'd get a complete circle. It just is going on infinitum, although it could never happen because it's never ending. Now, the spiral can, in the way it moves, information comes in, logos comes in, and it mixes with the mythos, which is really the cosmos, the weird, yeah? The infinite potential. The logos is something that is what we would call a quantum collapse. It's something that, through our patterns, start to cause a collapse of an idea, a concept. What happens in our brain is basically we have enough energy building up so that you will get enough energy going in one direction to cause a collapse. So what happens in the ultimate physical atom is that the logos is on the outside and in the inside, but it's pulling it into the top like a heart. And it's going around and around and around in different ways. So it's going on itself. So if you look, I know that you can't see my, well, you can see my hand, but I'm going around. So it's on itself. It goes spiraling through each end. And it also goes in and out, very much like a heart. And so information comes in through the logos. Logos comes in through the ultimate atom. It moves down, it moves around, and it moves in and out like this. And if you think about that as being the beating heart of the universe, it's just like a normal heart would be. And that's kind of how our heart, in a way, works. We've got 3 arteries that fit in our heart. You've got a diagonal one. We've got one that feeds the left and one that feeds the right. And it works very similar to the pulsation of our heart. And we know that our heart has the highest frequency resonance in our body. It's the strongest. So if your heart is, if you are full of love, then your whole body feels it because it vibrates like a big drum. If you're frightened, it does the same thing. So it brings attention to that space. So the ultimate physical atom is really a very good concept to think about when we think about this interaction between the known and the unknown. And when you're in this ultimate physical atom, you have both together co-creating. So when we do sacred embroidery, we're kind of allowing the information. We've got the wand, and we're allowing what's coming up from within to then create. And sometimes we don't even know that a thought or an idea has even come. We're just sewing away, and something emanates. So that's really where the sacredness of this all comes together. And this, for me, this is how we can explain a bit of spiritualism, really, in form of physics. Yeah.
It's a love affair between logos and weird.
Yes, it is a love affair. They meet and entwine.
Through co-creation.
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
yeah, I'm wondering whether the others have got a question about that.
Yeah, sure. Are there any questions? Would you like to ask anything? No? Okay. So, okay then, Erica, we go back and then you can, and let's get into the beautiful meditation.
Yeah, but meditation about meeting our beloved goddess. And I know Urja and Jennifer, they already participated with this meditation. But like we already speaking since we meet here, it's about the sacredness of the moment. And if we listen, there might be always something new, some new information for us in it as well. Just staying curious and open with the beginner's mind like the child today.
I'm going to switch my light off for now because it's a bit bright. Oh, actually, that doesn't look too bad. Not too grainy.
Yeah, so I just invite you just to relax. If you like, you can close your eyes. Just come into a meditative state. You can still feel your feet on the floor. Where you sit at the moment. Just make yourself comfortable to arrive in the here and now. Just take a few deep breaths. And just invite your body to relax. And just visualize yourself in a nice place in nature. Maybe you have got a favorite place where you always go. Maybe it's the same place like the last time you went to. Maybe it's something else. Yeah, just slowly make yourself comfortable in this place. And soak in all the nice sounds or smells, any sensations which are around you. Get really comfortable in this beautiful place. Breathe in deeply. And with the out breath, just let go. Let go of anything which doesn't serve you at the moment. There is nothing to do, just being. And if thoughts come up, that's okay. Just look at them, breathe them in, and let them also pass by like the clouds in the sky. Just breathe through your heart and your belly. To center yourself in the here and now. Breathe in love and breathe out love, which is all there is. Allow your breath to open up your heart and your womb even more. Really soak in this unconditional love. Invite the presence of your love to fill your whole body. And imagine that this love is having a presence which is appearing in front of you now. Or maybe you can just feel it as a sensation. This is your beloved wealthy goddess. This is an aspect of your higher self. Maybe that you have been searching for on the outside. Look at your beloved closely and deeply. Or maybe just feel her. Really soak her in energetically. Try to see and feel as many details about this goddess as possible while she is present now. When you feel like it, speak to your beloved. Speak softly and ask her any questions that may arise. Allow any wisdom that arises to come forth. Just allow this dialogue to be continued. Ask your questions and listen carefully which answers you receive. Now become her, your beloved goddess. Observe and feel how you become one with her. Look through her eyes. Feel like what she feels. Feel deeply in your body what she's feeling or experiencing. Be conscious of the eternity and abundance of her. Just simply accept and surrender that you are her. What you might have been searching on the outside, this is all in you. You have arrived at your true higher self. Feel the greatness of your being. Now change your identity again. Breathe in and out slowly a few times and focus yourself on your physical body. Become aware of all the emotions that come up. See your beloved next to you. And continue your dialogue with her. Now change your awareness or roles again. Become her again. And become one with the void and emptiness of all that is. Feel this unconditional love all around you that you are. Take in the feeling of peace and love that is always present when you are this beloved highest self. And become aware that you are neither masculine nor feminine. You have no age or gender. You are pure consciousness. All that is, whole and complete in your being. And then slowly, when you're ready, with the next few breaths, just slowly come back into your body. Start to move your fingers, feel your feet on the ground. Maybe you want to stretch yourself or give yourself a big hug to feel that you're back in your body. Just can open your eyes and and look at each other and recognize that each and every one of us are this goddess, and the goddess is part of all that is. Welcome, everybody. When you're ready, maybe you want to tell us what has happened to you, whether you have received some messages from the goddess, whether she appeared in any form.
Let me unmute myself. I would like to share.
Yes, please.
It was the same woman that appeared before with the white gown and the crown and the long white hair. And when we first started, there was definite form and shape in my physical space, and a form and shape on her arrival. And then there was that melting into, and then immediately, it surprised me. I felt this power inside of me, and I noticed that, like, all instantly, like a form, the physical form that I had in the physical space I had, just like whoop, went away, and everything was black and like shot out in all directions, really, above, below, sides, all around. It was just this place. And there was this knowing that she had. There was this grace and knowing. It's different than understanding. This is beyond understanding. And she was operating, she like saw the whole pattern of existence and how it all operates, and none of it came from a place of like fortune telling or prediction or of self-preservation or defense, but just that grace and knowing. And it was this graceful given that it's not a gift that we receive, but it's something that was given upon conception. And there's a lot of patience, like patience. It was this feeling And this is like a current of knowing that it is already. And that delusion of time gives us the arrival. Like something has to arrive, or we're going to arrive, but we're already there. We're already equipped. We're already here. So there was this peaceful, very peaceful feeling, and that just to participate with it. There's no force, there's no resistance, there's no making. There's really, it's just the word that she said was just participate. So
Mhm.
that's what I got. This is great.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. I love this so much.
Great, a lot of graceful giving and patience.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Really beautiful.
Thank you.
Jackie and Lauren,
Thank you.
did you have anything? Did anything come up for you?
Was anything? I'm not sure. I'm not. Mine was more kind of physical feelings and like a visualization.
Uh-huh.
You know, feelings of like love and connection and being really relaxed,
Mm-hmm.
safe. I think for me it was listening to when you said about ignoring all of the outside influences and just thinking about how you feel on your own, just feeling that awareness of yourself and that love. And just, yeah, so that's what I was trying to focus on and just kind of experience that.
Mm. Oh, beautiful. Unconditional love outside of your body. Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, just working on that acceptance and, you know, being happy with who you are as you are and accepting yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mm. Thank you, Lauren.
Okay.
Thank you.
What about you, Ulja?
Yeah. I'm very visual, so I always see a whole movie. I know people can hear sounds or have feelings.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, anyway, I just try to make a resume. I see myself climbing on a mountain with a lot of rocks. I look a little bit downhill. I think, oh, I'm nearly at the top. And then there is a kind of plateau where I meet my physical lover, but he died in 2000.
Mm.
And we sit around a table, and it felt like, okay, we are on the top and it's very quiet. But then you say something about you're going to meet the higher self or whatever. Anyway, there is a moment that I'm going to stand on the table, and I try to pull my lover with me on the table, but he is pulling me off the table.
Mm-hmm.
You understand that, like, but I can't go off the table because I want to reach the something like clouds. And there was a kind of gift of gold and you know, like pearls, white pearls and gold.
Mm.
Like, oh, this is the abundance, this is the wealth goddess in a cloud. And I was really like, oh, I'm holding it. But it was also like, I have to stand on the table with it. And I already dropped the lover. He fell on the ground or something. And then I see myself throwing flowers like rose flowers,
Mhm.
because on that plateau, I think I've seen it somewhere in Spain, but it was like all kinds of graves, little, uh, little altars from people, dead
Mhm.
people. And I throw all the flowers there, and I start to dance. And you say something about peace and space. I felt a lot of space and love. Oh, and I forgot to say, when I was on the table, you meet the goddess or the higher self. I don't know what to meet, but I met again the empress. That is
Mm.
the empress from sharing. She is giving the light, and then I go into her and I stay there on the table like, oh, I have to bring light in the darkness in Greece to all these refugees and the girls I was working with, that I make a clash with them. I have to be compassionate. I have to shine the light. And also the message. Oh yeah, I forgot the message. Before there was with all this gold, the message was, because I asked about jobs. Do I have to continue with all these jobs? I try to make money and make interviews and blah blah blah. And the message was again, wait, wait,
Again.
wait until you get an invitation. Please, no effort, no effort. Wait for the invitation. But that is also something I have read somewhere, and that relates to, always making effort. That it's better to wait, but it was again wait for the invitation, no effort. And then when I was in the body of the Empress, there was this energy. Trust yourself, bring the light. That's enough to bring the light. And then later it was with the flowers on the graves and dancing there in the space. And then I bow. Oh yeah, then my lover was there. He sits there. He was watching me, and I love him so much. But I felt okay. I can accept that he is just sitting there like a kind of sculpture, not really a body, but as if it is a sculpture. And I was doing like namaste, namaste. Then I go on my knees, even like namaste, namaste, thank you. And then you say, come back to the body and remember you are awareness. And I was running from the mountain because I felt, yes, I also want to go back the way I came. I want to go back downhill and then to my body, the room, whatever. But it was really, well, it was like a little travel. Also, it made me so happy to see my lover. I was 7 years with him, and we lived in Keulen that time. Anyway, but he died in 2000. I was very sad,
Mm.
but I could feel when we sit on the table, it was a kind of remembrance of sitting in the kitchen, so cozy. He was a very warm man and a little bit crazy, of course, but I felt
Of course.
the warmth and the wisdom he had. But in this, I went on the table and come on, it was like, you have to come on my level, come on the table. But he didn't make it. Yeah, and then I got so much. Well, yeah, it felt like, oh, I get so much wisdom and gold and pearls and such an abundance of, and then just to bring the light, that is enough. There is no need to do effort for jobs or to survive, and you know just dance, feel the space, and but there was a message like, take care with the flowers for the dead, respect them, something like that was also, and not to fear it, not to fear the dead. It is like, oh, take care, give it flowers. It's also, when you accept your fears, there is more aliveness. So I feel quite energetic now. Okay.
Thank you, Oria. That was already a lot of juicy
That
goodness,
was
pearls, and
nice move.
thank you. Thank you. I'm sure we can go
What is so
deep.
amazing is how, sorry, what is so amazing is just how much you can get in a short space of time.
Yes,
So much information. Yeah, it's just
absolutely.
amazing. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So a healing. I feel really like something is reset again.
Beautiful. Thank you, Oria.
And I have to tell one thing about my lover. I was before seeing him in light travels, and this was the second time that I see him. But last week I was taking books out of my cupboard, and you know, when you reorganize your book cupboard, like, oh, this book I give away, that one I throw away, this one I bring to the kringloop, how you call it, recycling shop. But there was one book, the title was You Are the Goddess. I thought, oh, I have to. So I opened that book, and in it was a letter, and it was just after that I also have seen my big love in the light, in the 5th dimension, also with some information like trust yourself, stay grounded, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, I found this letter and some pictures, and there was a message from the brother of my love, and he says something about, you know, what happened in that time, and that he loves him forever. It was like a response to my writing to him, but it was about, he shared about his brother, and I was crying like, oh, so typical that I find this letter and some pictures, and then it became really, oh yes, but it's out of my system. But now I see it twice, that this man has given me so much wisdom, and in that time I was still like a young child in a way, very young, you know. But it is integrated in me, what sometimes somebody leaves the body, but it lives further through your, something is still alive, and
yes,
you could connect with that, and that has to do with wisdom, and but also to stay on the table. It was such a empowering thing, and to him also, I'm on the table, but he couldn't come there. But in that time, when he was alive, maybe I see him as a big thing on a statue or so. And but anyway, I could still bow with my heart to it. Anyway, the rest I can keep for how it is.
Maybe for later.
Yeah, the details doesn't matter. Maybe I gonna try to analyze it, but that's not needed.
Yeah.
It's just how it is, and it feels really like, oh, what a gift, existence gift, again and again.
Yes.
In the body or even beyond the body.
Yeah.
Very grateful there. Yeah.
Thank you. What about you, Shireen? What happened to you? Did you receive any?
Yes, it was an interesting journey. I didn't have a lot, but what I did see was I was connected to I was really way back in time, so I don't know where it was, but it felt like it was a big mountain, and I was overlooking a overlooking ships in a harbor, and I was watching as people go, ships were going in and out, and this person was quite a young woman. She's probably about 40, very nice, beautiful hair. And basically what started off with the visualization was it was a white and gold box, which was a gift, which came with a gold string. And when I saw the box, and then I saw her, and I asked her, first of all, who is she? And she said Athena. Now, so Athena is one of the weaving goddesses. And she just basically was looking at everything going in and out, and just observing from the state of being in the, a watcher in the universe, not necessarily engaging, but it's been set, and so therefore she's just watching as it unfolds. And then I asked, and the gift, I said, is that gift, who's the gift for? She said, it's for you. And the gift, so I started to open, and what it opened up to is just to be the cosmos. So it was just like red and blue and all the colors, like stars just coming out of this gift. And really that was all that I got. It was more about observing the timelessness. It was the idea of not necessarily doing action as such, because there's a lot of action in the inaction. But what it was is that the message was everything is as it should be right now. So you're on, she was basically saying, you've set the course, and you've given the orders, you've done, now allow the sailors to go and do their job. Let them go and explore the lands, let them go and do the stuff while you watch here in this space and observe. So that was interesting. Yeah, that was really what I got. But it felt very, and becoming her and going there, that was when I kind of felt that sense of power. And it was just really about recognizing that I seem to be getting all the weaving goddesses arriving all of a sudden, which I'm finding quite interesting. That was what I got. And you? What did you get?
I've seen myself in this castle of Katharina the Great.
Ah, right.
With her like beautiful dresses and like the beautiful castle. And it has been a few months ago when I've watched this series like Katharina the Great, and she just came back to me right now. And especially these beautiful dresses. And I was just curious because this is like from the Russian background. There's a lot of symbolism. They're also telling like stories, like fairy tales, all those costumes. Yeah. And I'm just so curious what it all means. And like the message was really like looking at these beautiful dresses, but from the Russian background, Russian royalty. Because I mentioned at the beginning, I'm so fascinated by the Royal School of Needlework in London. And now the Russian royalty arrived.
Well, you're doing some Russian stuff. You're studying Russian right now. You're doing Russian art, aren't you? So it's getting closer.
Well, I started to read Russian again. Yeah, this is a very good way of reconnecting with the ancestral roots, because I've been disconnected for many years, like 30 years. I didn't speak Russian at all. So it's one way of reconnecting with the roots, and I've got consciously more contact with the Russians. And yes, it's got to do with this deepening of this Russian roots. Whilst I'm embroidering Umay, she's more like She's like the original goddess of Tengrism, which is like the oldest kind of shamanic tribes, Tengrism.
Yeah.
And it also spread to Siberia and all different tribes there. So it's widespread there. But it's more known like Kazakhstan, Mongolia, the southern part of Russia. Whereas Katarina the Great, she's bringing in a different kind of, well, this is the wet Russian kind of roots. It's different. And the beautiful paintings on the matryoshkas, and I love matryoshkas, and the art on the matryoshkas, it also comes from this Russian roots. And where every like little symbol, which is more like floral symbols, like they're very obvious symbolism, like pretty symbolism.
Yeah.
Whilst the Siberian Tengrism, this is more like you have to decode it. It's not obvious. And yeah, Katarina in her clothes, she's just in this pompous. Is there a word like this in English? Pompous, like really, like wow, like the empress, I think, which you brought in. Urya, she's like an empress. She fills the whole room and beyond. So it's about this power thing, but in co-creation with the masculine. She has never managed in her time to be a powerful woman, but not at the expense of, for example, she had a very bad relationship with her son, and she had many lovers, but she was never able to really live with her biggest love of her life. And she brings me the message that now is the time to incorporate all of this. You can be a very powerful woman, but you can be also a loving mother. You can be there for your family. You can be there with your lover. And we can really freely choose how to live our lives on our terms.
Yeah. And that's so powerful. Having the choice to live on your terms rather than living on anybody else's terms.
Yes,
Yeah.
and even powerful women in the past, they were not able to choose it at all, because they still lived for the expectation of others. Even if it's the biggest nation, the country on earth, she was never able to live on her terms.
She was powerful. I mean, she certainly was a very powerful monarch, wasn't she?
Certainly, but her son hated her so much that he established a law until nowadays, which does not allow a woman ever to govern in a Russian country. It has not been removed yet. So it's all still very in male hands, even though we always talk about Mother Russia and they are so proud of those feminine energies. In the law, like in the superficial law, it's not at all. It's not lived. It's not alive at all. Yeah. So it's like also passing on this heritage to us women. Like I'm very grateful that I can have from different worlds, like which felt for me like an entrapment earlier on. I don't belong anywhere. I now see more and more of a gift because I'm a free woman and I can choose how to incorporate those different cultural threads and wisdoms. And if I do it from my centered higher self, I can be this empress of the new world. And yeah.
And it's really important. I mean, I think that when it comes to anything that's to do with feminine power and being able to take our power and recognize where we give it away is so very important. And we think we don't, but very often we are giving it away. Just because that's a natural aspect of what part of being feminine is about, you know, what naturally is one of the drivers. But yes, that's so it sounds like a very powerful message. So shall we go into just getting into doing the exercises so that we can just, while you've got it nice and live there, we can do those exercises.
Yes,
So we'll go in to activate it a little bit more.
Our nice questions.
Yeah, so we can put those questions up. So what we're going to do is just to have people ask questions about this, because I know Jackie and Lauren haven't been here before, so that we can activate the symbols or activate the feeling that you experienced. So Eric and I are just going to go through and just do these questions and just see what happens and how it comes alive for her. And then we're going to get you guys, you two, to do that yourself so that you can play with the symbols. All right? Well, I don't know whether we have actually be able to do that. We may have to ask everybody their individual questions. Good. All right. So Erica, you were saying that you got this Catherine the Great coming, and that she really is giving you some real wisdom here about how you can be in this world. So what kind of wealth goddess is she for you?
She is a new empress of today, where also her clothes have deep meaning. Everything has got a deep meaning which she gives it.
Mm-hmm.
Because there is this fairy tale like the emperor without clothes, like
Mm-hmm. Oh yes, I remember that.
And she is giving me the message that she is like the true empress, which is who is a creatrix. So she creates the new ways of being, of power, of being a mother, and at the same time a powerful woman, a lover. And she creates the different ways of being of a woman in her total sovereign self.
So she's the creatrix, and she's showing you how to be the creatrix, this totally sovereign woman in all the dimensions, as a mother, as a lover, as an independent woman that is able to run a business. So she's a really powerful woman, and she's wearing these clothes that are very symbolic, which is what you kind of mentioned. And you said she has a message for you about being powerful. So where is your wealth goddess? Where is her when you...
Where she is me. And most importantly, I feel her through my dress.
Mm-hmm.
Because my dress is also like a second skin, which is like my goddess self.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like when she puts on this like robe, then I'm her. So she is me in a way.
So she is you when you put on that goddess robe.
Yes.
She becomes you. And when she becomes you, that's like what?
Then it's like I'm also her. Like I'm this new empress,
Mm-hmm.
which creates a new way of being a powerful, sovereign woman who can also govern, if it has to be, the biggest country on earth, which is Russia. And she really fills her robe and her space. I mean, she can really be sovereign no matter how big the space is which she is being offered to rule.
Mm-hmm. So she can govern the space no matter how big it is, so that she can govern and rule. And when she has this big enough space that she can govern and she can rule, is there another symbol or a message, anything else?
The symbol is she cannot do it by herself.
Okay.
So her biggest sovereignty comes from being open, being very vulnerable and open. So her power and sovereignty lies in her ability to be very vulnerable in the roles, like, which has never allowed her to be like a mother, like a really loving mother, or like a lover, and where she really just, she can lose herself completely, and in that her power lies.
Yeah. So she can lose herself completely, and in her power, that's where it lies. And when she can lose herself in her power with her vulnerability, and that her vulnerability and openness is her power, which she can lose herself in, what would you like to have happen next?
I like to invite her in
Mm-hmm.
to in the next, I don't know how long, like next days or weeks, to show me more what kind of message she has for me. And there's a link to Umai as well. It's about bringing in this very powerful woman from different cultural backgrounds, because Umai, Central Asia, and China even,
Mm-hmm.
and her, she's from a different part of the world. And there must be a link that I mentioned, Royal School of Needlework with England. It has got to do with revolutionizing the royalties from many different parts of the world.
So
And
it's about revolution. Mm-hmm.
and I'm inviting her to give me more guidance in the next time.
Good. So is it okay to leave it there? With you inviting her to do that over the next few days?
Yes.
Okay.
That's very good. Thank you very much.
So, okay. So we've only got a few people here. So I wonder whether we should just ask these questions straight out to everybody, do you think? Or do you think we should go into separate places?
How do you feel with such an intimate small group? How do you feel? Whoever is here now, do you want to go in breakout groups, rather in pairs, or that we do it in this small little circle that we are?
No breakout, just how it is.
Mm-hmm.
No breakout. Okay, just how it is.
And I like to all the pictures. Then you know who is who talking.
Right,
Because
so we need to go back. You want to go back into the big screen?
Yeah, it's all the pictures, but I only see. Yeah,
because you can't see us. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, now I see the breakout questions, but before I see, for example, you talk, I see you, and then, but you also have a group view.
All right, so you're in speaker view and not gallery view then.
Gallery view, yeah. Oh yeah, I was looking for the word, but gallery view, how do I do that then?
You go on the top on the right hand side. There you can adjust it from your end as well.
But we have had this before. You remember that I couldn't make it. Hide my video gallery view. Nee, not hide. Here, is it here? Yeah, but now I see the breakout questions. Anyway.
Everybody should be able to see the breakout questions because I'm still on a screen view.
Oh, okay. Ooh. Host disabled. Oh, hey. Are you still there?
Yes. Yes.
There was a message, the host unable to see the gallery view.
No, it's all fine, Uria. It's still all okay.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, it is how it is. We will see. So then you're gonna ask the question, you or Shireen? To
Yeah, so
somebody.
if we are not going to do the breakout questions, then we can do it like that. If you
Yeah,
all
because
if you all agree with that.
yeah. Because we are only with 4 people, 5.
The 5. Yeah.
Yeah, then it is already a breakout room, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. It doesn't matter. We can ask those questions to each and every one. That's not a problem.
Yeah.
Lauren and Jackie, you have not like been in our circle before. Would you like to be asked this kind of questions?
You want to be asked the questions? If I'm honest, not quite sure the best way to answer. I'm quite new to this. So yeah, because neither of us really saw a goddess, so I don't know if these questions.
But you can go with a feeling, Jackie.
Yes.
We've actually done this work. So if you just go, rather, what we'll do is ask a question: whereabouts would you imagine her to be? Yeah. So if you had to close your eyes and imagine you could see a goddess, where might she be in your space? Or you may just locate it, and then we can work with the space, which is just as easy. So it's another way of working with it. But I'll tell you what we could do. We will do some more questions with everybody else, and what you can do in the interim is just allow what starts to come up for you while we ask those questions. And then when we get back to you, after we've done Uja and Janet, we will then come back to you, and then maybe by then something will have started to emanate. Yeah, should we try that? I know it's a really strange kind of way of getting information, but it is a way that even if you could just imagine a symbol, so if you could say that's like what, then that will give you a way of, it could be just a feeling that's nice and warm. It could be, and then we could work with that warm feeling. So to activate the feeling a bit more. Yeah. Does that work?
I've already started sewing. Is that bad?
No, you sew away.
No, I already said
What have you got?
From the very beginning, I said, please follow the impulse.
It's like little heart.
What was
away.
that
We're
in the
all
heart?
sewing.
What was that in the heart?
Sorry?
What was that in the heart?
Oh, it's a little heart within a heart, basically. Within a heart.
It's a heart within a heart.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Well, that's already something emerging, obviously.
Exactly.
And so if there is a heart in your heart, what could be the good question? If there is a heart in your heart, is there a relationship to your goddess?
I don't know about that, but I think for me it was sort of about staying true to myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess it's a bit of a protective thing, isn't it? Having the casing around it.
Okay.
So there's a casing around it. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Go on, Shireen. You wanted to ask something?
So there's a casing around it. What kind of casing is that casing? When it's a protective casing?
Well, it didn't feel that protective, but it was more like staying true to myself than like a barrier or anything like that.
So it's about staying true to yourself, and it's not about like a barrier or something like that.
Yeah.
And if you're true to yourself, What kind of truth to yourself is that?
I guess not doing things to please other people.
Right. Yeah.
So it's like not to please other people, but staying true to yourself.
Yeah.
Is there anything else about stay true to yourself?
No. Trusting yourself, maybe.
Hmm. Where is this staying true to yourself at the moment?
What do you mean? Where?
Can you feel a sensation? Or can you feel something where it could be in your body?
What? It feels around my heart.
So it's around your heart.
Yeah.
Is that the same feeling around your heart, like the heart which you are currently started to sow?
I'm not sure.
Hmm. And your heart you started to embroider, it's about being true to yourself. And you feel it also around your heart. And with being truthful to yourself like that, what would you like to have happen?
I think it's just still about like not putting other people first and being true to myself and what I want and what I need.
Hmm. Yeah. So it's putting yourself first when you're staying truthful to yourself.
Yeah.
Being truthful to your needs and that's what you want.
Yeah.
And are you happy to leave it there? Staying with your heart and true to yourself
Thank you.
and to your needs. Thank you.
So did anything come up for you, Jackie, at all? I mean, not Jackie, Lauren, did anything come up or you want? While we were working with Jackie there, anything come up for you? No?
Yeah, I mean, I guess for me, it's similar to what Jackie was saying in terms of being true to who you are and not doing things to please other people. I think for me, it goes much deeper though, because it's something that's been so ingrained in the way I've lived most of my life.
Right.
So it's something that I'm not always aware of. It's kind of just, it's like just how I am, I think, to some extent. And it's trying to break myself out of that, because sometimes I'm quite happy to do things for other people or respond in a certain way that at first thought I might not necessarily think I'm perhaps doing it to please others, because I think to some extent that might be what I want to do myself. So it's yeah, for me, it's kind of trying to develop that awareness of who I really am at my core. So I'm still working on that and learning who I am, I think, because I think when I'm left by myself to my own devices, so to speak, I think it comes more easily. But I think I'm quite open to a lot of influences from other people, or I just pick up on feelings and vibes from.
Yeah.
That's yeah. I think I'm quite. I would probably be described as like an empath. So I do pick up on lots of things which aren't always positive. So it's trying to separate myself from them and work out who I am. And I think if I was, my goddess would probably be trying to perhaps encourage me to perhaps be more trusting of myself. I think in some way. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's something that I feel I'm quite inexperienced at. It's probably why I'm a bit hesitant or not quite sure right now.
Yeah. Can I ask something? When you were younger, what kind of fairy tales did you like? What kind of fairy tales did you kind of think about as that you wanted to emulate? What were those?
Probably like, you know, the typical romantic fairy tale, you know, the man, you know, sweeps you off your feet, that kind of thing. But I'm very much, although I want to find love now, I'm very much still, I don't want to like need a man. I want someone because I want somebody, not because, but I think there is that deep part within me that, I don't know, wants, I'm not sure, it's still trying to make the reasons clear to my, oh, the screen changed. The reasons clear to myself, if that makes sense. I'm not sure. But yeah, I suppose typical romance kind of.
So there's something about a really deep need to want to know yourself. And there's also this very deep need to also want to help others, to be there as an empath, to know that they feel like they're both kind of fighting each other in a way. Is that correct?
Yep, I would say so. Yeah.
So
yeah, I feel like I'm at my best when I'm helping other people.
Okay.
But then I'm not always sure if I'm helping myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's something really important about helping people and doing something which is the greatest part of ourselves, our capacity to love, our capacity to be there and share. And there's also this capacity to be able to love oneself enough to know when we could give and nurture ourselves so that we can nurture someone else. So I'm hearing it's kind of something like there's got to be a space, or there's something that's going to let you know about both of those two things. So I wonder if for a moment, when you can think about a moment when you were kind of like in your highest potential. So, you know, you did something, maybe you presented, or you did something at school, or you did something at work, or something like that, that you kind of went, yes, you know, I'm good. Can you have you ever had a moment like that?
Yeah, I've had some moments. I used to be a school teacher, so I'd quite often have moments like that when I was in the classroom with the children, and you see their faces light up and you're explaining something, or they ask you a question and you think, yes, they're engaged, they're listening, they're making a difference right now.
So when you have purpose, when you are engaged, when you are feeling at your highest potential, and you are there and you're giving, and it's in the space of just, it's not the same as giving as an empath. It's the same as giving from a powerful place of a knowing. Whereabouts is that knowing? When you have that knowing, can you kind of get back to that place for a minute? Just kind of think about that moment and just kind of get a sense where you can find that.
I find it quite hard to do that by myself. I feel like I need that energy from the other people in order to get myself there.
Okay.
And it's something that I would like to just be able to draw on within me.
Okay.
But I do struggle.
Okay.
Without.
So I wonder if maybe when you start just sewing a little and having that intention of, you know what, I really want to be able to have this part of me come through, and I wonder what that would be like.
Mm.
That might be a place now to start, just in the sense of while we're listening and while we're doing and working with the other two ladies, maybe start with that intention. I don't know yet. I don't know how it's going to happen, but I have an intention that I want it to. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Can you try that now while you're busy?
Yeah.
Doing this? Okay, and just see what happens as you sew, and see and be curious, and we can look at it in a little while's time. Okay.
Okay.
Shireen, I'm just looking at the time, and
I know.
our 2 hours are going to be up in 7 minutes.
Yes.
And so I think as we open the sacred container and we give it like maximum 2 hours, it feels also right to me to stick to the sacred timing.
Yes, to the time. Yes, absolutely.
And since we are going to do those master classes all through October, there will be other opportunities to join us on the next Tuesdays, the next few weeks. And I think that it would be a good idea, I speak now for myself, to close it here with our finalized words, symbols, what is alive for us at the moment, which we can carry within ourselves until the next time we meet.
Yeah. Okay. So Jennifer, do you want to start with what's alive for you right now?
Are you still with us, Jennifer? Or are you gone?
I'm gone, right? I mute myself as well, just in case. I just feel really excited. Like every time I join one of these classes, like I keep seeing a place, and it feels like home a little bit back in Maine during the wintertime when I was outside and there's a pond or a lake, and something is very old and moving, and it shifts every single time, and I never feel like it's bringing me to a place that I haven't been before, but like a place that it sounds funny to say, but that I'm already at and already been at the same time. So it's really transformative. I just lose the dexterity of language to be able to describe the feeling, because so that's it. But I'm loving it. And I'd like to invite others because this is really fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you. Please invite others.
Yeah, awesome. Great. I will.
This is co-creation. Wherever we feel the impulse, who might want to join, just spread it. Just spread it. Follow your intuition. And it's just right.
Thank you. I love it. And I love seeing everybody's face and hearing everyone talk. It's so lovely. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your presence here.
Thank you.
For your sharing. What is alive for you, Urja? What are you taking with yourself today?
Now I feel very quiet at the moment because of where I met all this in the visualization, meeting the goddess and the empress and the light and the messages. And then after here, the two girls sharing, and I feel very quiet. And then only the question what I would like to happen is that we all go and meditate in the world, being quiet, surrender to whatever is. But yeah, better I don't want to speak, because then I can make up stories and again go in the mind, feeding the mind again. Because I feel so grateful with to stand on the table, and you talk about your goddess, the Katarina and the Empress, and the empowering thing. And I saw, there is again this synchronicity, because this standing on the table, that also felt like, yes, it's me in my power, bringing the wisdom, not borrowed from the man I was with, because in that time I didn't reach yet the power I can bring my through now. So it feels like a transformation kind of thing. But also it makes me humble and not my ego. I don't want to have my ego in it. So that's why I want to stay quiet. And maybe I feel you are making sewing again. And I was much into drawing this week. Maybe you see it in the Facebook, because I posted also in the Facebook with mountains and Buddhas.
I've seen it.
Buddhas in the mountains. And also very little, I was on top and watching the cow down the hill. And to make the drawing so small on the top, and now in the visualization, I was not doing it. It was what I was seeing, climbing on the mountain and then on the table and my lover. And since then, I never met a man with that intensity. I have met, of course, many men, and still this is the most intensity I've ever met. And also the most crazy, but also a lot of wisdom, and that's still part of me. And I feel so grateful that it was in my life. But at that moment, I didn't really 100% realized. And also what I would like to happen is notice other people, take care of the others. Because that was also in the climbing, and my husband, he didn't want to go on the table, or he couldn't, and I had to let him go, because I want to go on and receive all these pearls and gold. I even didn't know I should get that, but it happened. But what would I say? I see him then on the ground, and later in the visualization, I was going to him, but then it was somehow too late, and I felt a kind of regret, or I want to forgive myself that I didn't notice, didn't see him where he was at. He had a bad accident. That's why it was also an escalation, but that is the story. But my feeling, I should have noticed him. I have to have taken care more. And sometimes I have it with people that I know, they need support, or I need to give something, but then I have to find a way that it is received without patronizing, Sometimes you notice, these people need, even neighbors, I feel they need support, and I don't want to interfere, but I also want to be received, and I want to give it instead of ignoring it. ja, nou ja.
Thank you.
So that was also kind of what would I like to happen is notice the needs of others and be compassionate. If you see, sometimes you have in cooperation things, a lot of things going on and ego, but mostly there is a need underneath. And to have awareness there, to have compassion there, and without controlling or ruling, start. So that was a message for me also. I would like to have happen that I have more clarity how I respond in where people are at and what they need and how I can give it without powering there. It's in a humble way. I don't can say different, but to do it in a humble way also needs power to stand on the table and take a position where it is out of a source. Because there was a question also about where is it? Where is it? The girl was talking about being in a class with children, and then Shireen asked something, where is it? And then I saw, yeah, that is out of the source. There is the honest participation happening in whatever situations, but it has to be given that it is received. Otherwise, it is you miss your goal or it is a waste of energy. Do you understand? Recognize where I talk about, or is it abacadabra?
No, I can recognize where you're coming from.
You can relate to what I say. Yeah. You must.
Absolutely. And what are your closing feelings? I heard like to be compassionate to others without empowering them.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to take with you today?
To trust myself there more, to just by seeing this, having this awareness, I have to trust myself more and more that I can maybe sculpture a little bit on my pattern. You know, you see, oh, I do it a little bit, then it's maybe a better result or a better connection, you know. Anyway, I also have looked back to the last meeting we had last week, and I see some moments that I was a little bit overruling with words or with attitude, and that's why I reflect myself there. But it was also with my lover that I didn't notice where he was at. He was in a quite difficult situation, but I was busy that he needs to take care of me and my child, and he has to be in my life. I don't want to compromise to his free life in that time, but to see it backwards, like you roll the movie back, I didn't really see his needs. And then to bring it bigger to people, also in my yoga class, you see sometimes, oh, there is a need happening, and then to step over it is not good, but to overpower it, it can also be yeah.
Okay.
Anyway,
Thank you.
Find a way to just feel received in what I give needs awareness, and I trust myself more there. So, and to say something about this meeting, it's very interesting that it always brings up so much reflections by listening and following, and also the synchronities in the goddess, the appearance of the goddess, because you were also saying something about being this boat on a harbor, and you got this, you open it, you see the whole universe, but there was also a message that you didn't have to control it, or you could let it
Yeah.
leave the sailors.
It had
And
already been decreed. It was already on its way. So that was what it was.
That all relates to the common, what was in common here today.
Yeah.
Into empowering. It also means like let it go and trust, and
Yeah.
it's organized, something like that. So, and that it gives so much information where I can relate to, but now to put it in words, it's a little bit, then it's, and that's why I say, oh, I want to be quiet, because it gives me so much recognition of the.
Can you say one or two words, Urja? Because we are like closing the circle.
That we
Maybe
are all sisters,
one, two words.
sisters in the same boat, sailing.
Same boat sailing. Okay.
Sister, we are sisters in the same boat, sailing to awareness, because that was the most profound in the guidance you said, and you feel you are awareness. But even to say it, we were already into that awareness. Also in this sharing is so much awareness happening.
Well, thank you, Urja. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you too. Thank you too. Nice to see you.
What about you, Jackie and Lauren? Any closing words for our circle today?
Or what? Just show us what you've done. Show us your embroidery. Oh, wow. Okay.
Oh.
Wow, a heart, and there's a red part in that heart. Is it a red heart?
That's the heart within the heart.
Heart within a heart. And there's that one, and so that's a nice white that's around the heart there.
That's the thing that was sort of a little bit like a protection, but not really.
Well, it's allowing it to shine. Yes. Oh, I just see a lovely shiny purple heart there. Yeah.
Do you want to show yours?
I have been sewing a bit of it's a dark purple and there's gold stitching, and I'm going to stuff it with cotton wool or some sort of wadding to make it more shapely. And yeah, probably be like a Russian
Do you
gold.
Do you have any idea what's going to go on it?
I'd like to put a nice detailed intricate dress, I think, on her, but I'm not sure at the moment. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Okay, I promise next week I also have a heart or some little marushka. I will
please.
Work with it. Otherwise I cannot join. I will feel the experience of that because there is some magic happening here.
Erica, what
Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Thank you. I hope you're going to come next week.
We want to see what you've done.
How it's going to continue.
Yeah. And Erica, what did you have?
I've continued with one half of my Umai. This is the Umai, the grandmother of Siberian Tengris or Tengris shamanism. And I finished my Lovey Heart, which I started in the first masterclass. The Lovey Heart is combining the masculine and feminine energies. And I've incorporated the different runes from our 3 masterclasses, which happened so far. And what you did with the algaes from the first, it came to me to do it in the same way, like being receptors from the outside to draw in the energies. And then Fehu from last time, abundance. And today's rune Sovilo is also inside.
Nice.
Yes. What about you, Sherry? My word for today is empowerment.
Yeah.
There we go.
And mine is gratefulness.
What about your embroidery? Do you want to show?
I kind of started doing, there's a few things that need to still go in, but I actually started doing what I was given.
Oh, that's a present.
That was the present, and it came in. So I started doing that. I'm actually quite proud of myself that I can actually that I'm doing this free embroidery, and it's coming up and it's actually looking quite good.
Yes,
So
it does.
That started to, and that's also something that's coming in and out, and it just felt like it had to be done, which was part and parcel, just to remind myself to give myself a present.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Give yourself a present.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
nice.
Good.
Jennifer, did you embroider something as well?
No, I didn't. I don't have that yet. But I will. It's more, I think, I don't know right now. I think, nope. I'll get it though.
I love that.
Well, the seeds have been planted. Your rich life, the soul and womb life, which has arisen the last time and today. I'm curious how it's going to find an expression in the physical form.
Me too. Me too. Thank you.
Well, thank
Well,
you.
everyone.
Thank you very much for everybody who has been sharing the sacred space together with all these different energies and presence and signs and messages which we have received. I feel very grateful for that. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you
It's been
also.
really nice.
Ew.
And you, Shiri. Very nice.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No, thank you for coming.
Bye. Big hearts to
Bye.
everybody.
Everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Yes. See you next week.
See
Yeah,
you next
take care.
week.
Bye
See you
bye.
next week. Yes.
Bye bye.